What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my volleyball commentary on the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Volleyball Games. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who provides volleyball tutorials, jump training workouts, and other cool volleyball videos. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more content. I know it's already been 2 weeks since the gold medal match finished, but I've just been too busy coaching my Moreau Catholic High School girls volleyball team, which started 2 weeks ago, and I just started teaching again last week. This is my first free weekend, and I'm excited to finally watch the gold medal match between the ROC and France. I've been avoiding social media for the last 2 weeks, which has been really hard, just so I don't know the results of this game. First, I want to thank some of my Russian fans for helping me with the pronunciation of the Russian player names, such as Podlesny and Mihailov, where the K is silent. And also, thanks to my French fans for helping me pronounce Chinyezi. Alright, now for my predictions for this match. Russia just has some incredible young talent who are not only tall, but super athletic, with very powerful serving, blocking, and attacking, which is what you would expect from a Russian volleyball team. However, they've also added some defense to their style of play. The last 3 Olympics have essentially been the same core group, which includes Mihailov, Grankin, Volkov, Verbov, and Sergei Chichukin, who's one of my favorite players of all time. This is the first wave of new Russian players, which means they bring a new type of energy, a more modern style of volleyball with better ball control and a faster offense, but they also have less experience. France is entering into their 2nd consecutive Olympics, and they have the same group as the last Olympics, plus a few great additions like Jean Petry and Brizard. More importantly, they're more mature, very scrappy on defense, and they just don't give up. They play with this incredible underdog mindset where they are fearless and they fight for every single point. It's really inspiring to watch. I really can't tell you who's favored to win this match because it's both of these teams' first Olympic finals, at least in terms of the athletes on the team, so the match should be pretty even. But if I had to put my money on just one team, I would have to say France, because they have better ball control, they have a huge chip on their shoulder, and a team that never gives up is a dangerous team. I'm so happy for both of these teams to make it into their first Olympic final. First, I gotta sip my fruit tea, because this is going to be an exciting match, and I gotta keep my voice hydrated. And let's get this Olympic party started. Here we go. I'm just so excited. I've waited 2 weeks to watch this and avoided every chance to not find out the results. So this is going to be the honest reaction and commentary. And here we have Kliuka off with the easy serve, Grebennikov with a great pass, and right away with Ingapet with the big attack. Free ball sent over from Russia. France should convert on this free ball here, and Chinyezi with the tip, misconnection from Brizard here, and Mikhailov with another tip. Great start so far, and Mihailov starting it off with a tip. Usually he blasts the ball every single time, but that's something that you'll see on the scouting report. Oftentimes teams will watch a lot of video on their opponents before they play them, so maybe they see on a 3-man block there's going to be a large hole in the middle of the court. And Kliuka again with his second serve. And Klevino looks like he has a start in addition to Ingapet for France there. Heavy jump serve, good pass from Ingapet, back set to Petry. High deep corner, is it out? No, he was going for high hands, which is a smart choice because you're going to have a huge Russian block in front of you almost every single time, so you cannot swing straight down against such a big block. And immediately into a challenge from Coach Tilly. If you guys remember from the last game, He actually dug a ball on the sideline. No touch. That one, it probably would have been better to go for the seam since the middle blocker was late on that one. But hard to see when the set is moving that fast. Now, an interesting story behind the French setters. Tony Uti has been starting pretty much every match in the last 4 years, maybe longer than that, and even in the Olympics. But Coach Chili decided to change it up as they started struggling against some teams, and Brazard's been doing an excellent job running the French offense and adding some physicality with his blocking and serving. And Kliuka gets an unlucky skip off the top of the net, but he started Russia off with a great serve. And now we have Russia in for the reception. Chinanyezi. He's been a streaky jump floater. I mean, he jumps pretty well. He tends to go cross court. Let's see if he does it. Yes. Oh, straight for the middle toward the libero. Not the best choice because Russia handles it well, but then a nice soft block from France. Out of system swing from Ingapet, and it lands in. That's the dangerous thing about Ingapet. Even if it's out of system, and most teams won't take a swing on that, but if you know that Ingapet is going to get his feet there, he's always going to take a hard swing. So the rule of thumb is when Ingapet is about to go for the third contact, you have to put up a block against him because he will always go for it. Chinanyezi, another one with a short pass, and Mikhailov. I got to remember that the K is silent. Mikhailov, I think that's how you pronounce it. Going over the block, over Klivino. Beautiful attacking form right over the top. And what's amazing about Mikhailov is he's played at the same level and even higher as he gets older. He's been aging really well and have been such a staple for the Russian Olympic team there. Klivino with a fantastic pass, and again a back set to Batri, can't put it away. Quick set to Klivino, and he was not ready, but Russia was. And Mikhailov, this is the experience here. He does not reach. You see how he presses over the block and then redirects the ball back into the court by turning his palms toward the center of the court. Great blocking technique from Mikhailov.
Let me clarify. I want it higher in transition. I want it fast when in system.
Another jump float down the line, but another great pass there. And Klivino has another chance to convert it, but Russia with that new defense that we talked about in the pre-game. And Patry does go over the top again. One thing to watch out for Jean Patry, one of the smartest hitters on the French team. Wow, great dig from Kliuka. Still deep over the block. Wow, he goes over Volkov. That Volkov is huge, 6'10", jumps well, and so for Patry to go over him, that's a very high swing and a good vertical here. Decent serve down the line, slowed down by the net there, and Mikhailov so consistent. The interesting thing about Mikhailov is that doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's just such a steady player, and that's the type of player you need on your team. Someone that's not going to get too riled up or too excited, but is going to get the job done on the court here. Also a fantastic server. He likes to go across his body. We'll see if he serves all the way back to area 1. Yes, he does. That's his favorite spot. And just kept in play from Ingapet. High swing from Klivino. Great rundown from the Russian libero. And does Mikhailov get hands on that one? Yes, he does. And Mihailov's immediately nodding his head, immediately knowing that there was a touch on the block. Oh, I guess there wasn't. I'm surprised there was no challenge from the Russian team because it's rare that Mikhailov misses. Klivino with the topspin serve here. Kept in play by Kliuka. And Volkov, he is the fireball for Russia. He's a great complementary player to have with Mikhailov. And that's a little bit of a lucky play. Turns it down the line and squeezes it in between the player and the net. If Brazard just pressed his hand over a little earlier on the way up, he could have gotten an easy block. So a little lucky play, but good things happen when you just swing hard sometimes. High set to Ingapet, and wow. with Ngapet immediately puts the ball away, and Coach Tuli going into the team huddle as well. And he's giving him some blocking advice there, saying you just got to press over sooner. Brazar with usually a much harder jump serve. He tries to serve that short to get Kliuka out. And the line judge calls a touch, and confirmed by the up ref. So I think France is trying to, that's a great call, of a high flat shot. So you'll see him trying to swing out to get the fingertips. Now this is probably Russia's ongoing strategy. They know that Kliuka is their top attacker for Russia, so they're probably going to try to serve him short to disrupt his hitting rhythm. And we've seen that strategy throughout the Olympics. And Kobzar in for his jump serve. He usually is very consistent and a very heavy jump server, but misses into the net. Wow, great serve from France and easy put away from Russia. Now if Russia wants to be successful, look at how big and physical their middles are. If they can max jump, they will not be contested. Fantastic back set there, and I believe his name is Kurkaev. Young, athletic, tall, jumps well. Kurkaev, yes, that's his name. I'm continuing to practice these pronunciations here. And all the way back to Kliuka here, usually a much better server, and Ngapet struggling with that one. But Petrie forced to swing out again. This has been a string of errors from Petrie. And that's okay. In the early part of the game, you're still trying to feel out the block. It's been a while since they've actually played Russia. And so they need to calibrate their swing. And it's great that Coach Tuli from France is allowing him to stay in the game to figure out the Russian block. Because you are playing best of 5. You do have some time to make good decisions here. Now, even though Kliuka misses his second serve, that's a good ratio. When you can serve twice, that means you are earning a 2-to-1 scoring ratio, which is very good at the international level, especially when both teams are matched very evenly. Every extra point counts. And taking Kliuka out again, and a great one-hand set from Kobzar, and good hustle play from Brazar here, and Russia should convert. Will they set the middle? Yes, they do. And that's the matchup. Even though Legov is a huge middle blocker, very athletic, look how physical Legov is, they still cannot match up with the physicality of the Russian middles that just seem to get bigger and more athletic every year. This is a great graphic here. You see how France, they skipped about 8 years of the Olympics. They missed 2008 and 2012, and they made it back into the Olympics in 2016. Klevino has been passing so well from Russia, and Mikhailov continues to get more blocks against Klevino. One-on-one, look at that. So interesting, Mikhailov doesn't really just take the angle there. He just presses way over and gets a block from the left arm. So that's a good choice from Klevino. But you cannot swing that low against such an experienced big blocker. Mikhailov, 6'9", good size, and he continues to get stronger and thicker every year. They continue to serve Klevino, who's been passing perfectly, and good attempt from Volkov. They cannot control that to keep it in play. See, that's the type of hustle play that France actually would regularly get back in play, and at this level, every opportunity you can to keep the ball in play is another opportunity to score and block and maybe have your opponent score or make an error in transition. So keep your eye on those type of plays. Russia will fail to make some of those scramble plays, but France continues to make those plays on the regular. And Petrie continues to struggle. If he continues up until maybe 17 or 18 points, we might see Boyer early in the game, who is the backup opposite hitter for France. And Ngapet has been a little quiet on the offense. They tend to run him more from the back row. We'll see if they do that off of this serve here. Great pass from Bukenikov. And they try to establish Legov early. And even though Russia read that, they were just a little late on pushing over. See how double block there, a little bit late from Kobzar. So the Russian middle did a great job. And if Kobzar sealed that a little earlier, he would have been able to redirect the ball back into the middle of the court. Great fast swing from Legov here. hybrid serve to the Russian libero, and again, when it's in system, the Russian middles just cannot be stopped. They are just too big and too strong, going right over Legov, which is rare to do. Legov is already big in the international standards, and Iakovlev is just on another level. They have both middles that are gigantic and jump well. Volkov with a low toss, serving straight into the net. Now Volkov can be a little streaky. He is a very fiery player, which is a great personality to have, but sometimes the emotions can take over and cause a little inconsistency. We have yet to see him make a huge impact offensively. He's gotten a couple lucky kills. And again, Iakovlev, a monster. So athletic, so big. Let's watch this play again. And Kobzar pushes it a little bit. So that's what we call a push one. You see how he is just a little bit further away from the setter. So it's not a true shoot. It's halfway between a traditional A-quick and not exactly a shoot. So somewhere between. That's a good way to create some separation for your middle so that they're not always hitting straight on with the opposing middles here. Iakovlev with a downward jump flow. He's got a pretty good serve. Grebennikov keeps it in play there. So this is another unique aspect from France. Usually liberos, when they're setting, they're not the primary setter, obviously, so they will just set it high and hittable. But with France, they trust Grebennikov. They have a good system. Grebennikov is going to try to set the same tempo offense as Brizard. And you're not going to see that from Russia, so that's another difference that we'll see. So ROC up 17-14, France down by 3 points. Kliuka's been serving pretty well this entire match, getting 2 to 3 points every serve. And they run Engapet again from the back row. Here we have the big middle from Russia again with the great dig from Chenanyeze. This is what we talked about, where France just does not give up. And Mikhailov with another easy kill there in transition, but that will frustrate a team just simply by digging them. Ooh, I think that might have been off his foot. And I think Russia was trying to challenge that mid-play. Now here's the funny part is, even though Russia ends up scoring the last point, okay, looks like they do not honor the challenge from Russia. And Pankov, this guy has got a rocket for an arm. They got so many great servers on the Russian team. That is Russian-style volleyball. And this is a good matchup between the French defense here. They continue to serve Klivno, who... Oh, great dig from Kobzar, but it is controlled in play. And Petrie continues to swing high. And Kobzar cannot control that swing, which was not as hard as Engapet, but it was deeper. And that's what's so great about Petrie, is he swings high and deep. Very high percentage swings there. And this is actually such a great matchup because we have the great offense from Russia, but the great defense of France. And these are what make for exciting volleyball matches. Petrie has been struggling to get his serve going. Can he get something to get another 1 point separation? He a little bit conservative, keeps that ball in play. Oh, fantastic dig from Grebennikov. Little misconnection between the Russian middle. And another cover, but cannot get through the big Russian block here. And look at that, and Grebennikov just gets in the right position, digs it with his chest. That's the nice thing about great liberos, is you'll see how they use every body part. Ideally, the arms are what control the ball, but just getting in the way of the ball, you can dig the ball with any body part. France with the serve now, only down 2 points, but Klivno cannot extend the lead there. Still a comfortable 3-point lead from Russia, and even though it's only 3 points, Russia feels like they have the momentum. France looks like they've been struggling to get into some type of rhythm. Still great defense, but offensively they've been having to, even on perfect passes, not immediately putaways there. Wow, fantastic pass from Grebennikov, just keeping it high in the middle of the court, and that's the high swing we're used to seeing from Petrie. Even though it's against a solo block, he does not try to go straight down against Russia. And Kliuka posts the ball really well. See how Kliuka finishes the block, and he tries to take the line away, but Petrie sees that opening And most liberos will probably tell their outside blockers, don't take that line, give it to me. So Golubev, who is the Russian libero, also a fantastic defender. You have to be if you're going to be in the gold medal match. You can't have any weak players here. Valentin with the serving specialist, great performance as usual, and high chip off the block there from Kliuka. Valentin with the serving specialist, great performance as usual, and high chip off the block there from Kliuka. So even though Brazard matches up with the size here, Golubev just keeps that ball in play. Volkov gets a good high set there, and look at that chip, just like Japan. You see how he points at the edge of the block. That's the power of pointing to where you want to finish. And he purposely doesn't swing his hardest so he can have a little more control and try to tool the block. So great swinging technique from Kliuka. And Yakovlev with that downward vicious jump flow. Ingapet struggles to handle that. Grebennikov calls it, and Ingapet usually wins those jousts, which he gets a nice replay there and a reset. And great dig from Mikhailov. And struggles to get over the block. Is that out? Yes. Kliuka very, very steady for the Russian team. He's gotten Russia out of some very difficult situations. If France cannot contain one of those two players, Mikhailov and Kliuka, they will lose. You can't stop every great play, but you can contain at least one of the better players. Let the middles have their kills. But Kliuka and Mikhailov, those are the dangerous ones on the team. And another tough pass from France here. Ingapet, he's great out of system, and he does get them out of a difficult situation. So Ingapet, one of the smartest players on the French team, just keeps it high, flat, over the middle. He doesn't swing his hardest, he just chips it off. And that's a similar move that we saw from Kliuka, just a smart play off into the fingertips, misdirection of the ball, and very calm. Now we have Brazard still waiting to get a serve going. Usually he crushes the ball, he keeps that in play, and when you let Russia pass perfectly, you're going to get an immediate side out there. Easy put away from Volkov. And great setting from Kobzar so far. Everyone looks in rhythm. And you see how France looks like they're in a popcorn machine. When everyone is approaching at full speed on a perfect pass, it is very difficult to track all the hitters here. And what are they challenging here? Even though they earned the point, I don't know if France was challenging Volkov on the 3-meter line or if Russia was initially challenging the service foot fault from France. Ooh, that was a great challenge there. That was a huge momentum changer because Russia looked like they were on their way to finish the first set. Great call from Coach Tilly. What vision. Very easy just to look at the ball, but for the coach to be able to see all those things at once. Great call. Now it's only a 2-point game, and Brazard, can he get something going with a little bit more heat on the serve? And there we go. That's what we're used to seeing from Brazard. He gives Russia a taste of their own medicine with the heavy jump serve right into the seam. That's the best place to serve, in between two players. And Kliuka, Russia's second best passer outside of Golubev. And Volkov, not bad, but as you can see, not as decisive on that serve receive play. And now it's only a 1-point game. Can Brazard hurt this?
Together, and this is my 9th overall. This is the most beautiful facility that I've ever been in for a volleyball tournament.
Can Brazard hit another seam power jump serve here? He goes into the other end, and Golubev keeps it alive, but Mikhailov can't get it with a one-arm save. And immediately we are back to a tied game. The entire time France was trailing by 3 to 4 points, and this is what we talked about earlier. The most dangerous teams out there are the teams that don't give up. And even though it looked like Russia was on their way to finish the first set comfortably, you can never count France out. Another heavy serve, but Well handled by Volkov here. A little bit high for Kliuka, so he has to take a little off there. And Brazar, a little high set there too. And is that blocked out? Yes, I think it is. And I thought it might have hit Ingapet on the way down, but this is somewhere. And this is where Ingapet really excels here. Out of system, he's your garbage man, taking huge cuts, and wow, what a great high swing on the outside edge of Kurkeyev. I would say Ingapet is probably 80% successful on those type of out-of-system plays so far. So maybe the setting strategy for France is actually to run Clevenot, Patry in the middles in system, and then when they're in trouble, save Ingapet for the out-of-system situations. And why would you change it up? When you've been serving rockets and that's been working, sometimes there's no need to change it. Especially when it's this close. You already mentally have a huge advantage over Russia by scoring 3 points in a row. Kobzar is Russia's most consistent server. He's done an excellent job throughout the Olympics, and he gets one in. Great pass from Grebenikov again. And just high, deep corner, another smart play from Ingapet. Little indecision on the Russian defense, little miscommunication here. So just around the block, he still keeps it high there. That's a great lineup from the Russian block. I wish that we would be able to see the replay on the defensive to see whose ball it should have been. Usually if it's that deep, it's going to be a middle back's ball. And France with game point. Who would have thought that they would have had game point, being that they were down pretty much the entire game there. Ingapet serves it hard but slowed down by the net, and Mikhailov, your trusty opposite player. Great bump set from Grebenikov down the line, and Clevenot just goes for broke on game point. What a fantastic finish from France here, and Russia just could not respond to losing their lead. Already 2-1 lead led by France here, and hard crush down the line from Volkov, and there's that fire that maybe Russia needs to spark a little bit more engagement from the team. They looked a little shell-shocked that they lost that last match. And this is already not looking good for Russia. We talked about earlier how the team that is dangerous is a team that does not give up, and France exemplified that so perfectly. Topspin serve from Volkov, well handled by Ingapet. A little high set to Lagov. Great scramble play from Russia. They just have to keep it in play. And easy day from Patry. Can Clevenot get them out? No, they can't. Easy free ball pass set to the outside to Kliuka. Great rundown from Grebenikov. Fast transition to Ingapet, and is there a touch? Yes, there is. He is the one they set to get them out of difficult situations. What a great setting game by Brazard here. And rundown. It's not just a flashy dig. It is a controlled dig to the middle of the court, which allows France again to run multiple attacks. But Russia is playing defense. To their credit, they are keeping up defensively. And misplay from Yakovlev. Usually for that short ball, you want Kliuka to take that. And I think that's also the other benefit of serving short, is you're going to attempt the middle to try to take that ball. But middles usually should be focusing on their attack. And they're not going to be known for their ball control here. Another short serve to Kliuka. Great pass from him. Fast transition to Kliuka. Now Russia does run a faster offense than they have in the past, but France does run it a little bit faster than they do. So you see how France is still able to get two blockers there, and Kliuka just crushes it down the line. Now one thing that's very signature Kliuka, he's going to hit sharp angle because he's completely open to the court. And then at the last minute, he might go cross-body, no look down the line. Yakovlev has been Russia's more dependable server, getting 1 to 2 serves every time it goes back. And again, they struggle with it. But Ingapet is able to get himself out of that. So Ingapet, in all honesty, is not known for his serve-receive ability. He has great defense, and he's exceptional as an attacker. He just gets himself out of these situations, so maybe he doesn't have to pass his best all the time when you can do that and hit yourself out of those difficult situations.
but he maximizes his jump.
Legoff, what a fast jump float, but well handled by Kliuka, and a rare stuff block. Mikhailov usually terminates those in system, but let's see what type of move Ingapet makes here. Looks like they're going to do some replays of Ingapet. And yeah, they're highlighting Ingapet's ability to just swing smart. He's tooling the block, he's swinging high, he's alternating corners, he sees the court so well.
He's always thinking about range. He makes deliberate moves with the ball at the point of attack.
Legoff again with the serve, taking Volkov out, and Kliuka with a tip, but swatted back by Chinanyezi. And they just have to send another free ball. Chinanyezi should have taken a swing at that one. And they run it fast to Klivano. That might have been a lift there. Ingapet with another out-of-system play. Does he hit it in? Ooh. Russia should have blocked this one. They got lucky because Ingapet has been hitting very well even when he's jumping backwards. They should not give him any opportunity to take free swings there. That was only out by a few centimeters. So Russia definitely got lucky with that one. Now France is up by 2 points, 6-4. I still think Chinanyezi should have hit that short free ball. Instead he opts to pass that one, which is not a bad choice, but you got to take every scoring opportunity you can in the gold medal finals there. Kobzar with the jump serve, low into the net. I think he tossed that one a little low and on his left shoulder. Whenever you're attacking, even from the service line, you want to toss it in line with your hitting shoulder. If you toss it to the left or the right, you're forced to lean in these awkward positions, and it's going to be very difficult for your body to rotate properly, and it's going to hit low because you have to lean and reach for that across your shoulder. Bizarre was the reason why they won the first set, so let's see if he can get something going. No, he changes it up for a short jump float. And great soft block from Chinanyezi. Fast transition to Ingapet. Well covered from France here. Another fast swing. Cross-body swing from Ingapet. Easy tool. So this is what we talked about from Kliuka. He faces towards the setter and he just goes across his body. It's either a clean line hit or it's an easy tool off the edge of the block there. One of my favorite moves as well. It's so hard to read because most blockers are going to be lining up with where you're facing, so that opens up the line just a little bit. And if you go crossbody just trusting that the block's going to be slightly more inside, you're going to get an easy tool. And I think we have a setting change from Russia. Pankov in for Kobzar. And Kobzar has been starting pretty much every game for the Tokyo Olympics, so very bold move from Russia. But at this point, if you're down 4 points and it's already the second set, you do need to make some changes, just like France did during the semifinal match here. Hang and bang there. That was an incredible block play from Ingapet. And Ingapet, he does get a few blocks per game, but this is the most blocks I thought he would get, especially against a big Russian team where I thought they would just hit right over him. But Russia is in a bad offensive rhythm. They are struggling to get some type of connection with their setter. Now we fast forward to France leading Russia 9-5, but Russia with the serve. Kliuka, Russia's best server so far, crushes it. They throw France out of system, but Ingapet has been perfect out of system. They slow that down with a block. Can they quick transition to Kliuka? Yes, they do, but another fantastic dig from France. Out of system opportunity from Ingapet, and Kliuka for some reason gets stuck. He could have changed direction. In that situation, France makes this defensive play, and Russia does not. So Kliuka is reading left. You see his head moving left on the screen. But at the least, Kliuka could have dove for that ball. And that's what you don't want to see from your team, is giving up. That can be demoralizing for everyone. And that's one thing that France does not do, is they don't give up. And look at that excited huddle from Russia. They know they need to turn something on if they have any chance of coming back to win the second set. But we're starting to see the team culture differences from Russia and France. France with just a little more hustle, a little more desire to keep the ball off the floor. Russia giving up a little early on some of the more difficult scramble plays here. And Kirkeev switching to a topspin serve. That's interesting. Maybe he's trying to score a couple more points. And Chinanyezi, soft jump float to Golubev, who hasn't got a lot of opportunities. And big swing from Yakovlev. Now, even though this was ping pong defense from France because they just could not handle the heat here, it can still frustrate the hitters if you just constantly touch their balls. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Great defense is not always about keeping the ball in play or even passing perfectly. Sometimes it's just frustrating the hitters to the point where they will overswing. And down the line serve from Mikhailov. I don't know why they keep serving Klevino. That's a soft hit from Batry there. And fast transition. That's what we're used to seeing from Mikhailov. You hear the thud of this swing here right on the ground, uncontested. I think it gets that seam because Lagov is a little late. Oh no, it's over Klevino. That is what's impressive. If you can hit over a blocker from the back row. Can Mikhailov get something going with his jump serve here? He needs to stop serving Klevino. And they continue to aim for Klevino even though he's one of the best passers on the French team other than Grebennikov. I think Russia needs to start targeting Engapet. At the least, you might be able to tire him out. Because right now, Engapet just looks fresh. Every time he swings, he looks like he's in full control of his body. You need to tire him out a little bit. And rare poor pass there. Out of system swing. Okay, remember how we talked about how that was a play that France makes and Russia doesn't. And just simply because France keeps the ball alive. Remember from set 1, there was a ball that the Russian team had a chance to run under the net to keep the ball alive, and they just did not go 100% for it. And then in the same play, you see France go 100% under the net. They keep the ball alive, and they force Russia into a net there. That's a big difference in hustle. Imagine if the Russian athletes had the same level of hustle as France. Wow, that would be a force to be reckoned with. Off the top of the net, slowed down, and crush from Volkov, but kept alive somehow from France there. And do they give Volkov another opportunity, and he comes back and crushes it. Wow. Another frustrating moment. Wow. Looks like he got hit in the stomach, or maybe the balls there. Oh, Brazard made a great move, just couldn't close his hands in time. And if Russia wants to win this game, they just need to step up their intensity a little bit more, not just in emotion, but in their effort. Now, to France's credit, they've had to develop a hustling style because they're not going to be the biggest and most physical team. In Russia, they have not been forced to adapt that way because they usually are the bigger, more physical team, and they don't have to play these long rallies usually. And Kliuka with a high pass off the net, and Mikhailov a little bit early and kept alive again from Grebennikov. Wow, that is kept in play, and another opportunity where France just does not give up. How many swings is France getting in transition simply because France just keeps the ball alive? Look at that pancake from Grebennikov here. And just a huge swing. Pankov actually sets up the block really well and presses over, but sometimes you get an unlucky tool. But you have to earn your luck sometimes. You just have to work hard enough to earn those lucky opportunities. Now France with a comfortable lead, and they're calming each other down, saying no need to get worried, we're up 5-0, let's just focus on the next play. That's a great way to mentally deal with it, and all the momentum on the French side. I did not expect this game to flip so quickly in France's favor. I thought it would continue to be back and forth, but Russia looks nervous. They look like they're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Yakovlev with his signature jump float can't get that one in. Now he's the player that would be okay with a service error because he usually goes back to serve 2 or 3 points, even if it's not aces. An interesting stat here, Russia with 10 service errors and France with 7. So pretty close. France is down by 6. I'm sorry, France is up by 6 points here. Kliuka with the high swing. Now, Kliuka and Mikhailov are the two hitters that are really carrying this team. You'll get Volkov in some middle action here and there, but those are the two most dependable players here. And Pankov doing a great job keeping Kliuka in a good rhythm. Now what Russia needs to do, they just need to get one dig and one block every few serves. They cannot get 5 straight. That's very rare at this level. Pankov with a great serve, well handled by Engapet, but Golubev cannot handle that swing. So the reason why it was right at the libero and Golubev couldn't handle it is because Chinyeze swung a little bit higher than most middles. Right, most middles are going to try to angle downward, and so it's going to be right in Golubev's platform, but it looks like Chinyeze swung a little higher, which was aimed at the head of Golubev. Now for the first time we see Poletaev in the game. He probably has one of the highest vertical jumps out of all international volleyball players, probably close to a 50-inch vertical, left-handed hitter, very dynamic. This guy jumps out of the gym here. Let's see if we can get something going on the serve here. He does right away, a laser down the line there. Klivenov's probably just going to keep this in play, and a little too close of a bump set. So that's the power of a tough serve, is you earn a couple more opportunities by putting the opponent in a difficult offensive situation, a more predictable offensive situation. You saw how Russia had 3 blocks waiting to clamp down on that tight set there. Rare error from France though. Usually out of system they've been excellent. Can Poletaev extend a little more from his serving run? Yes, he does. Another one down the line, and Engapet out of the offense there. Klivenov hitting against a 3-man block and again gets blocked. And here's an interesting change from Engapet. Immediately he puts his hands out, even though Klivenov gets blocked. Usually Engapet is glaring at Klivenov or just having a bad attitude and bringing his team down, but this has been the difference. Engapet's attitude, immediately apologizing for his bad pass and trying to calm his team down, knowing that he can have a positive impact on his team and not getting too frustrated. Poletaev with his 3rd serve and already a 3-point game difference. Great pass from Grebennikov, we've been saying that a lot, and Petrie with that downward swing. Grebennikov just laying out his body, dropping his shoulder, and great deceptive set from Bizarre. And this is rare to see a downward swing from Petrie. He sees the opening, one into the sharp angle. Pankov in the right position, but it's just sometimes too downward. When you have one blocker, there's just too much court to cover, and you just have to do your best to read. And staying deeper is a good bet against Petrie because usually he swings deeper, and now when he decides to change it up. And Chinyeze, France's more deadly jump float server. We'll see how Russia handles this one. Probably short to Kliuka. No, targeting the Russian libero. That's a bad choice. But low set from Pankov and lucky tool from Iakovlev. Legolf read that 100%. But that set was very low. Russia came back with a very lucky kill from that one. And they brought it back to a 3-point deficit here. This is the same situation, but the teams are switched. France was down 3 points in the first set at this point here. And Mikhailov with an easy jump serve. And again, they run Engapet from the back row. Now I might challenge this. Engapet might have been under before the ball touched the floor. We'll see what body part there is. Okay, I think any body part except for your feet cannot cross the net there. And I'm surprised that Russia isn't honing in on this because they've been running Engapet in system back row more than front row, so maybe at least a little bit of a help block from the outside hitter. Petrie with a more aggressive toss on that one. Volkov can't handle that, and Volkov takes an aggressive swing but slowed down by the net. Legolf with a quick transition into the back one. This is something you'll see a lot of the high-level teams do when they block to the right. They will either call a back one, or they might that just might be part of the system, but instead of coming all the way around to the middle, they might just call the back one, which is a shorter transition, and it will help them beat the block, as you saw Legolf do there. France with a 5-point lead, Petrie with another aggressive serve, and Golubev just passing nails for Russia, and another forced tip from Mikhailov. This is a misconnection from both setters from Russia. You cannot win without Mikhailov being an in-system terminator. So it looks like this is a little bit lower or wider than Mikhailov was expecting. So that's a bad sign, and both setters are struggling to connect with Mikhailov. That's going to be bad news for Russia here. Are they going to challenge? Yes, they will. We'll see if the ball compression lands in on the line here. Wow, if France gets an ace here, that would be 24-18, and if you think Russia is already discouraged, that's just going to completely deflate them. Wow! A little bit of ball compression on the baseline. Just when you think France can't play any better, they come in with another ace, another defensive play, another block. They are just playing the best volleyball that I've ever seen them play. And I've been following France since 2005, a long time. They've always had that underdog mentality, which is why I love this team. Down the line, great pass from Volkov here, in-system swing, but another forced tip from Pankov here. And that is a much smarter swing against 3 blockers. Wow. That's something that you really have to go for, because you're up 24-18. You need to just go for it. You have a lot of room for error, and you need to try to finish the game and don't let Russia back into the game. Fast forward to the third set. Russia up 3-2. Trickle play. And France has been a little better out of system. And soft shot, and they force a net play. This is another net from Russia. Another opportunity where France is just keep the ball alive, making some smart plays and forcing Russia into some errors, or a smart conversion off the block from France, now tied up. Let's see what Russia changes in this third set. Usually high-level teams like this, they know it's an all or nothing move here, and Kliuka, we haven't seen him from the back row very much, and they start Pankov this game. They're done giving Kobzar some opportunities here, and that's a great pool there. So that's what we call overloading the zone. You have your middle running the A quick down the center, and then you have the middle back outside hitter running slightly to the left or slightly to the right of the middle to occupy the same blocking zone. So when the middle jumps up, they fake out the middle blocker, and that allows the blocker to be on the way down, giving a small opening for the outside hitter coming in from the middle back. Lagov with his signature jump float and tight pass, but quick transition from Polesny, and another smart roll shot down the line from Engapet. And Kliuka comes in again. So Kliuka is essentially the Engapet for Russia here. He comes in and saves the day. Look at that great dig from Mikhailov. How many opposites at this level are going to play defense like Mikhailov? Very rare. Great high swing there. And Engapet almost had that, but Kliuka has just been super consistent. What a rise of a star for Russia here. And Russia with a 1-point lead, 5-4. Can they extend this lead? With Polesnik has a huge jump serve, but he serves it short, earning the overpass. Are they going to run the middle? No, they run another misconnection to Mikhailov. What a waste of an overpass, and what a fantastic roll shot from Engapet. That is deflating when you've served tough enough to earn the overpass and you cannot convert here. He disguises it so well, and Kliuka is usually a fantastic defender, and if he cannot get that, that's how you know Engapet really sold that roll shot well. Bizarre, he's gotten his serve going so far this match, but he continues to serve it short, and Polesny struggles to get that on the net, and that forces a mishit from Kliuka. Now Polesny in for Volkov. He can hit incredibly hard as well. He's a little streaky, a little inconsistent, but he is a little bit better of a passer than Volkov. So I'm surprised they're targeting him, but probably because Kliuka has actually been passing really well this whole time. So Brazar's been doing a great job mixing it up, and there he serves a hard one, but Golubev handling it really well. Power tip from Russia. Can Russia convert on this one? They get Kliuka right back into the mix, and he has been single-handedly keeping Russia in this game. And I think he exploits the seam here, a little bit late on the block, yes. So you see how Petri overruns Kliuka and then has to reach back in, and that forces that big seam in the middle that Kliuka can take advantage of, and Petrie knows it.
They're hanging tough.
Now it's amazing that Kliuka has been keeping it somewhat close. And if Mihailov gets into the game, that's how you know Russia has a chance to come back and try to win this one. Great soft block from Russia, and Kliuka with an awkward tip there. Another free ball opportunity. Can they get the middle going? No, a rare net error. Usually it's been Russia committing these net errors. Pankov getting him a little bit wide, forcing the tip. So that would have been another great transition opportunity for France. Now France starting to lose some steam here. See how it's a little bit wide? He has to reach beyond his head. And I think Engapet, seeing that he was about to tip, so Engapet probably was dropping his arms to wait for the tip and then reach back over. Rare mistake from France. Russia with a lead, 7-6. And Iakovlev here. That has not been a good serving performance so far from him. He started off great, and that's his second serve missed in a row into the net. And now Russia with almost twice as number as service errors. Now that's okay if you're compensating with aces, but Russia not having many aces. France actually leading Russia with more aces here. And tie game, Engapet has struggled to get a serve going this entire Olympics. And he, as soon as I say that, he gets that one going. Right into the seam again. That 5-6 seam has been very problematic for Russia in between the left back and the right back players. Now we start our mid-rally, and another big play from Engapet. Free ball for France here. Hard swing, soft block. And that is the power of just French unrelenting pressure. Just crush, dig, crush, dig. And so far France has just been not giving up. Look at this hustle play from Engapet, barely jumping over the bench there. And again, we have an opportunity. That is the game right there. And if Russia does not institute this level of hustle, this level of commitment for each ball, they are not going to have a chance against France here. France is already leading up 2 points. Another free ball transition here. Big set, but another fantastic kick save from Brazard. And does Klevino get a touch off the block? No, he doesn't. And it must be so frustrating to play against France. And finally, Russia does double up on the big. They know it's coming from Engapet. And I think Kliuka smartly takes his hands down. Wow, what a heads-up play from Kliuka. So smart. Russia keeps it within 1 point.
It's because of the challenge system. All those micro touches, they were never called when we were playing. So the chain of events is challenge.
Heavy swing down the middle. Engapet with a great pass here. Fast set, but low to Legov. Out of system set to Polesny. And blocked, but that is another difference there. France is the team that will cover that and get another opportunity, but Russia just watches the ball fall to the floor. Top spin from Petrie. He's been serving much better in the second and third set, but the Russian barrel continues to be so steady for Russia, and Polesny over-rotates on that line. I think he was expecting a little faster set from Pankov. Pankov's been overshooting some of his high ball players, including Kliuka here. Trying to force it a little too fast, and as a result, for setting a little too wide there. And now France up 3 points. Klevino changing it up down the line to Polesny, handles it well. And Mihailov finally gets his in-rhythm swing. Pankov getting him a little bit faster and not pushing him out too wide here. Great tempo. That's Mihailov's great tempo there. Swinging high off the block. He usually is unstoppable in system, even if there is 2 blockers up there. And Engapet does a spread block. That's what you should do when you do have a solo block and you're not sure whether they're going to hit line or angle. You want to give up the straight on and try to take away both line and angle in one move against a solo block there. High set to Petrie. He keeps it high. Slowed down from Russia. Quick transition. And again, another misconnection to Mihailov. I think Mihailov probably expecting that a little tighter. Pankov struggling to find Mihailov in his window. You see how Mihailov is forced to overrun that. And I'm surprised that France doesn't identify this early. You see how he's under the ball. And Pankov just needs to get Mihailov on the net and fast. Mikhailov, even though he's 6'9", he's such a great hitter with fantastic footwork that it's much better to get him too fast than too high.
Soft stuff.
Mikhailov with his signature 1-to-1 serve. Can he get some going? But Klevenov's there, and he's France's second best passer, and Legoff with an easy put away on the back one. So this is something that you either call out early or you have it part of your system. When the pass is pushed left, you have to be ready behind on the back set there. And Legoff has a little bit of a loopy arm swing. You see how he brings it down and then swings? So it's a little harder to read that type of arm swing. The downside is it's not going to be as consistent of an arm swing when you have it loopier. Ooh, that was a big miss from Legoff there. And France up only by 1 point. A 1-point lead is almost like no lead at all at this level because anything can happen. A little luck or just one great play from another great player. Now Polesny, usually one of Russia's fantastic servers here. And there we go, just serving about 80%. And in system to Engapet, and we rarely see him in system front row. Usually it's going to be out of system or in system back row. So great choice from Brazar to keep him involved in the game and keep the Russian middles honest. But you see how big the Russian middles are and how good their footwork is. Even if it's in system, they can still shuffle there and get there in time. But Engapet's keeping the swing very high and hard off the hands there. France up 2 points. Brazar has been rolling it short to area 1, but he misses that one. Looks like France has lost a little bit of steam in this game. And I don't think Russia has really been changing too much. I actually think France is just either getting a little more tired or they just calm down a little bit and not having as much of a dominant performance from set 2. And I think Russia has settled in a little bit, but they can still make more changes, or they need to make more changes if they want to come out on top in the third set here. Yakovlev serving from the right back this time, changing it up. And there we go. Oh, Polesny with a great behind the baseline dig, and Kliuka hitting right over Engapet. Kliuka has probably one of the best picture-perfect hitting technique here. Stays open to the core, elbow back, and then rotates across his body to hit that high line there. And right around Engapet, he still keeps it high. It's not always about crushing the ball. As long as the ball touches the floor, it doesn't matter how it gets there. And everything's predicated on Yakovlev's serve. Grebennikov taking a little pressure off that, and a fantastic dig from Mikhailov. And there we see signature Mikhailov play. Great defense and a quick transition. So Pankov does a great job of setting Mikhailov closer, and he demands that ball. He says, "I'm ready." And even though France is ready for that ball, Mikhailov just swings too hard and too high for Klevenov to control that. I love that Mikhailov is just demanding the ball right after that dig. Engapet trying to get something going with his serve, and he has been very inconsistent this entire Olympics, but he's brought the French team to the gold medal match, so serving would actually be a bonus for him to have a great serving performance. But he's been so great on defense, on leadership, and attacking. He's just been so steady. Every time France is in trouble, he gets him out. Pankov with the heavy serve, and France out of system swing, and Patry usually keeps it high. And he swings, I think that was right in the seam. Incredible vision there. Let's see where he finds, is there a hole in the Russian block? So Mikhailov bails out a little bit, and it's just high seam. He keeps it high. And that's the difference. Oh, right in between Kliuka's hands. So that was a lucky play there. But when you just take an aggressive swing out of system and keep it high, good things happen. Golubev so steady for Russia here, and a tip, another misconnection from Pankov. And is he going to call a lift? No. I'm surprised they didn't call that one, because they have been calling these power tips lifts throughout the entire Olympics here. That's why France was arguing that one. Looks like a little bit of a quick release. And very deceptive play from Pankov. Way to go back to Kirkeev to give him another opportunity to stay involved in the game, because Russia is now up by 1 point and with some momentum. And I love how the bench is clapping and trying to get their team back into the game with a little bit of energy. Great serve down the line from Kliuka here. Can Patry get them out again? Almost does. High set. Polesny keeps it high off the block. I would challenge this one. I don't think Russia has used any challenges yet this match, or this set, sorry. You get 2 challenges per set. If you win the challenge, you keep 2. If you lose the challenge, you only get 1 left. No touch. That was a good challenge, though. At least it's going to slow it down. Sometimes you might get a lucky play. 18-18. That would have been a game changer. 19-17 would have been a 2-point switch. Now Polesnik does miss it, but he misses it in the best way possible, trying to score the point, trying to keep it high. If you're going to lose a point, you should lose it trying to do something competitive, not just playing it safe there. In-system pass, and Mikhailov back in the game. Mikhailov heating up. Remember how I said earlier, if Russia has any hope of staying in this match, Kliuka's been doing such a great job, but now that Mikhailov is in the game, so you see how that sets a little inside, but because it's fast, it accelerates Mikhailov. When you slow down Mikhailov, he loses power and reach. And Polateev almost got Russia back into the game in set 2 with his 3-point serving run. He's very consistent, and he's left-handed, which is tricky to pass there. Laser down the middle, well handled by Ingapet there. And in-system swing from Patry. That's a hard swing from him. Polateev did his job, but France just came out a little sharper on top. And now we have the 6-2, which means Tony Uti in back row for Patry and Boyer in for Bizarre. This allows the French team to get a little more size on the net. Now, I'm surprised they're doing this because Brizard is actually a pretty decent blocker. 6'6", very physical, and he jumps very well. And at this point, I don't know if Boyer is really going to add that much more of a block compared to France's defense, because France has been playing excellent defense and scoring transition. Good dig from Boyer here. Engapet dangerous out of system, and Russia pulls their hands down last minute. Smart play. They've been victimized this whole game by Engapet. So what a heads-up play here. They blow up and then they pull it down. Look at that. 2 players know exactly what Engapet's going to do. I wonder if that was a conscious timeout play from the coach, or whether the players were just smart at that moment and made a good play. Russia looks like they're the ones having the momentum, and France a little deflated now. Mikhailov, what leadership and incredible play from him. Out of system to Engapet, his specialty again. They put 3 blockers up, and again they pull the block. And Engapet, he's going to go all or nothing. Will Engapet start to blow up a little bit and get frustrated at his team and himself? Or is he going to keep his cool and lead his team to victory through a better attitude here? And this is where they unwind the double sub. I think this costed France the game here. Everyone was in such a good hitting rhythm with Brizard that, and they were digging well. Why change it up? Because now Russia is up 2 points and they are back in their serving rhythm here. Grebennikov keeping the ball alive, and quick set to Engapet. And Engapet just crushes that, hits the ball too hard for Golubev from Russia. This is such a well-formed 2-man block, and you see how Engapet hits to the right of his body. Essentially, wherever you want to hit, that's where you want to follow through. Now, especially if you're hitting angle as a right-hander from the left side, you want to hit on the top left corner of the ball and follow through away from your body there. Luati, I think I called him Valentin earlier, confused him with, I think, a Russian player. But Luati has been so good as a serving specialist. I don't think he's made any errors there. And again, he comes in with a rocket, and Polesnik comes in with his own hard angle swing there. He's just a little bit inconsistent on offense, but you're always going to get a hard swing from him. And more importantly, Russia just needed to change things up. And Pankov with a great tempo in-system set there. And Polesny, dangerous from the service line. If he gets one ace, that's a 3-point advantage. Hits it down the line. Grebennikov handles it easily. And is there a mid-rally challenge? Is France going to challenge a foot fault?
huge moment in this match.
And if France loses this challenge, even though the ball was still alive, Russia will get the point.
Or if you want to challenge something that happened
This would have been two bad moves from Coach Tilly, and not a criticism of his coaching ability, but just two moves where France had a chance to finish in 3. The first one was unnecessarily applying the 6-2 when France was already digging well and hitting well with Brazard, and now a mid-rally challenge thinking that Polesny foot faulted. Wow, 23-20 just like that. Mentally, this is hard to come back from, but if anyone can do it, we know that France is the team that can do it. But Polesny just bringing too much heat from the service line sometimes. Now he's in rhythm. And there we go. We just gave Polesny a second opportunity to get into rhythm. And that's another ace into the seam here. This is what we needed earlier from Russia. A great coaching move by subbing him in by the Russian coach here. And if Russia gets a dig in transition, I would go to Mikhailov. He's your most experienced player and can handle the most pressure-filled moments. Polesny, can he finish this one with another ace here? Going for the seam. Overswings that one. He tosses that a little too far in front of him. So that's one thing to keep in mind as a jump server, is that sometimes in the process of trying to be aggressive, you can make a poor toss either too low or too far in front. You just have to accept that I cannot take a full swing, and that's when we just take a little off and keep it in play and wait for the next opportunity. But trying to go for a serve on a bad toss is not a good idea. And Brazard serves that one out, keeping Russia in this match here. What a great comeback from Russia. Such mental fortitude. And not surprising, if you're going to make it this far into the gold medal finals, you have to have some type of mental strength. Great job for Russia to squeeze out into the 4th set, and now France is a little less excited and a little quieter. That was a very rare error at this level. Usually it's a really easy bump set to the left front and good hitting opportunity, but Pankov maybe just lost a little bit of a touch. Sometimes that happens. You're right there, and then you feel like you got it, and the ball just bounces off your platform. A little funny. That happens to me pretty often, actually. Good pass from Kliuka there, and easy put away down the line. Now Kliuka continues to abuse the line. We'll see if France makes any adjustments to take away that line here. And there we have it. How many line kills has Kliuka had? Not a lot of angle kills. We'll see if France can make that adjustment to slow down Kliuka's offensive production, because now Mikhailov is back in the mix. Fast transition to Patry, and Patry continues to keep it high, swinging high off the hands into the late Russian middle block there. So you see how Kurkaev has to take a little bit of a negative step to the right, getting faked out by Chen and Yezi, and that's what causes him to be late. Now this was actually not a bad block. You see how he's still able to slow it down. Even if middle blockers are late, you still want to reach into the seam along the net to see if you can get a touch, because the other option is that he's going to hit straight down onto the floor. So at least by touching the ball, you can slow it down, give your team an opportunity to play it again. Brazard's been so great serving this game, mixing it short in area 2 or just deep into the seam here. Short 2 again, and that throws Kurkaev off. Oh, big collision. If the cameras weren't there, I wonder if they messed up some of the speed and camera machines there. And Kurkaev taking another ball there short. And this is a breakdown of the Russian serve-receive system. The fact that this has happened several times already shows that there is continual miscommunication between Kurkaev. So that either means Russia, part of their passing system is they want the middles to take the ball, and they continue to mess it up. I would just hide the Russian middles further up and just let the outside hitters take those balls there. And he changes it up with a hard serve, and Kliuka, rare miss. He's had a near perfect performance. I think that set was a little too far off the net for him, so he had to jump under the ball, forcing him to hit out. Angapet charging his team to get more into it, get more fiery. That's what you want from your court leader. Even when you're up, you want to push your team to continue to be better. And Bizarre already on his third serve. He's been France's best server so far. That was an interesting inside-out spin, trying to get a little too tricky. If they play a slow motion of this miss, you saw the ball shift right and then left. So the way you do that is you hit on the inside of the ball to curve it inside out. But that's very difficult to do and not the best thing for your shoulder, so I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time here. Kliuka has been Russia's best server here. Always on a run, but perfect pass from France. And you can't do that against France when you have Patry hitting in system. We'll see if France challenges this. This is tricky. Are they going to challenge a touch, or are they going to challenge the ball on the line? Now it's tricky to use a challenge this early in the set unless you are 100% sure is risky, because usually you want to use the challenges for when the score is in the teens or in the 20s, when the points count a little bit more. So I think they're challenging that. It was off of the foot of the right back player. This is taking a little time to figure out something. I think they are challenging off the foot. So maybe they're just pulling up the replay here. Ooh. Was it? Oh, it nicked his foot. Wow, the ball was out, but it nicked the foot. That is the importance of court awareness. You have to know where you are on the court without having to look at the court itself. But that's so hard to do. That's a matter of millimeters of a mistake. So France walked away with the lucky one, but at this level, sometimes you need a little luck on your side to win the big points, and that's just part of the game. That's the beauty of the game, actually, because if results were always predictable based on skill level, sports would not be exciting to watch. We want things to be unknown. We want some things to be random. That makes things interesting here. Angapet, we talked about earlier how him serving well is a bonus because he's been doing so well. And he continues to miss. I think it's really interesting that he serves from the right back. As an outside hitter, most of outside hitters are used to opening to the right of the court, so I'm surprised he's not serving from the middle back or the left back. That would be an interesting change if he decided to ever modify his jump serving. That would create the same angles that he's used to hitting. And Krakeyev has been doing a jump serve, but it looks like he smartly switches back to a jump float. At least it's in, and even though it's an easy handle by France, Krakeyev had a couple unnecessary service errors. He's not going to be the guy that's going to get aces. Mikhailov with a very well-formed block. He finishes his hands, but Klevno just swings very, very high into the block, and he has earned the start this Olympics. Originally, Kevin Tilly started, and that was one of the big changes. Klevno going into the starting lineup. And Mikhailov high into the block. Easy cover from Russia. Quick to the pin, and what a dive in from Klevno. That's rare to block Mikhailov one-on-one. What a rare block. We'll see what happens. I think that set was dying in a little inside, and Klevno just jumps into the angle. You see how Mikhailov is forced to jump laterally on the inside because Pankov doesn't get him wide enough or fast enough. And Klevno, that gives him a little more time and makes it easier for him to read where Mikhailov is hitting. Even though France is up by 2 points, Russia has a new level of confidence and relaxation, and France is starting to look a little tight even though they're up. So it's interesting how the score is not always indicative of a team's performance here. Wow, that was a little too dump of a dig there. Mikhailov wasn't even ready for that one. And there we have Kliuka swinging the ball high and deep corner. If you're ever unsure where to go out of system, so Mikhailov just is holding base defense. He actually just happens to be there because Bizarre tries to dump it too deep. Oh, Klevno brings his hands down. If you're ever unsure where to go, deep cross corner is the longest distance on the court, and that's the highest percentage place to swing. And now Russia only down 1 point thanks to Polesny's serve. And he sets Kleveno out of system, and Russia just stuffs that straight down. Look at the excitement. Look at the fire from Russia. I love it. I think Kleveno tries to beat it on the sharp angle. Oh no, he just tries to challenge that line. And Pankov just so physical. Look at how that arm doesn't even move. This is why strength and conditioning is so important for volleyball. Because if his right arm wasn't strong enough, if his shoulder and arm weren't developed enough, that would just been a tool off the arm. But instead, his arm stays completely still and unmoved. That's how strong his body is. Now Russia finally up by 1 point. Huge comeback from their team. Grebennikov passing so well, and great crossbody swing down the line from Kleveno to come back. That mentally, that's how you know that you're on a different level, when after you got stuff blocked, and again you continue to challenge the line again and try to beat it. Look at that crossbody swing there, just open. And the reason why Pankov didn't close down the line is because Kleveno was facing the angle. And that's why it's so important as an outside hitter to face the same direction every time when you start your approach, regardless of where you plan to hit here. And that was a rare misdig. I think Kleveno was a little too far up on middle back defense. There we have Sergei Jachukin, one of my favorite players. And Yakovlev swings high, and great soft block from Legov. Look at that commit block. He slows it down. And that's so rare from a one-on-one situation. Usually those get picked up, but like I said before, Kleveno was a little too far up on the quick attack, so he needs to go a little deeper on base defense. Russia maintains their 1 point lead here. Yakovlev struggling to get some type of consistency on his serve. But Russia is still 10-10 early in the game. And now I would say the energy level is pretty even. Both teams look pretty confident and pretty relaxed. They've settled into this game. And Luati with a jump float instead of his jump serve there. Great day from Kleveno. He's a little deeper that time. And Engapet, they finally slow down his block and don't get tooled. Do they transition fast to Mihailov? No, they go right to their go-to gun to Kliuka. He keeps it high into the corner. Look at this, just high, deep cross court. And Legov just a little too far back. Usually when you're playing left back, you want to stay a little more shallow for the straight down angle. And you want your hitters to force them to swing deep. But you have more time to chase the ball deeper, so that's why you want to commit to a wider, sharper angle first. Pankov has been serving really well as well, but slowed down by the net. And they finally get Chinyeze involved in the game. We haven't called his name in a while. He's been patient and going every single time. And what a great set by Bazar to keep Chinyeze involved in the game. Perfect timing. If you're a middle blocker, the traditional timing is you want to jump right when the setter touches the ball. And because they haven't set Chinyeze very much, you see how Russia is react blocking and not commit blocking on him. So they were not ready for that. Tie game again. They were just bouncing back and forth between points. Hard serve down the line. Great pass from Mihailov. And Mihailov with the easy put away. This is what we're used to seeing from Mihailov. Look at that transition from serve receive. He's an opposite hitter. And he has his own no-look crossbody swing. Look at that look of death right there. Do not want to meet him in a dark alley. Mihailov firing up now in the third set. Or this is the fourth set, sorry. Kliuka, Russia's best server. Can he get another 2 to 3 point run? No, overswings that. Looks like he tosses it either a little too high or contacts it slightly under the ball there. Roll shot to Polesnik, but handled well. And Polesnik keeps his swing high. Man, what an impact Polesnik has made on the court. Volkov, their usual starter, just could not get anything going. But Polesnik has been very steady and earned his starting spot on the court. He's been serving great, passing well, and attacking well. Everything you want from an outside hitter. And Kirkeev with his jump float and getting Chinyeze involved in the game here. So this is an interesting angle that Bazard is setting. When the pass is on the 3-meter line, that's where the middle should go in front of the setter to stay on the net. But if the pass is only on the 5-foot line, the middle should stay behind the setter. So hopefully we'll see more examples of that so we can understand some of the middle setter relationships. And there we have the unstoppable heat. When it's in system, when it's at the perfect height, both middles, Kirkeev and Iakovlev, are unstoppable. Look how much higher they are. And just putting his full body snapping into the ball here. Actually, even that is not even at his maximum height. So imagine if he contacted even higher. Someone will get hurt on the other side. Russia up by 1 point. And Mikhailov deep serve. Struggling to pass that one from Grebennikov. And easy pass from Kliuka. Can they run him on the bick? Yes, they do. And what a great adjustment from Kliuka. I don't know if you saw that. That set was a little too low from Kliuka. So Kliuka actually has to abbreviate his approach at the last minute and just kind of swat it in. But that's what you want from your experienced players. You want them to make something great out of a less than ideal situation. Russia up now 2 points, on track to possibly take the 4th set and to force a 5th. Mikhailov down to area 6, Angapet an okay pass here. Klivano struggling out of system, but right when I say that, that is a huge cut on the angle. What a fantastic swing against a big triple block. I hope they show the replay on this one because that was an incredible swing. Heavy jump serve from France here, and Polesny again gets himself out of that pass. Doesn't matter if he doesn't pass great. If it's a 1 point pass, meaning enough to set one player, he's going to hit himself out of that heat. Look at that whole body torque. So this is how you generate power. You open up and you rotate your body. A lot of people make the mistake of arching the back and reaching back with their shoulder, but that's going to only create lower back and shoulder problems. It's important to use torque, which is rotational force, and you want to rotate your torso. And Polesnik so far with a great serving performance, but hits that out. But he's been doing great, so you will take a few errors from him. France keeping it close, only down 1 point. Klevano is a hit or miss server. He sometimes changes it up with a jump float. We'll see what he does on this one to see if he can throw Russia off balance there. Top spin, nope, he changes that with a jump float. Well handled by Golubev. And rare block from Kliuka. I think that was a little bit further off than Kliuka wanted, so Kliuka couldn't truly get his whole body behind the ball. You see how he has to reach behind him just a little bit. But Lagov, look at how solid that block is. Look at how steady those arms are. And you see how he rotates his hands back into the middle of the court to redirect that ball so he doesn't get tooled. And service error from France. Very untimely. France was just doing so well in transition and climbing their way back. Don't know if we needed to go for aces at that moment. And another hard serve from Pankov, but great pass from Klevino. In system swing from Engapet, but great day from Russia. Mikhailov, so great with no approach. This is a lesson to learn from all the young hitters out there. Look at Mikhailov, just take no approach and take a huge cut of the ball. And Engapet, thinking he's going to go high into the hands, makes a mistake of pulling it down. You might not always have time to have perfect situations, so how do you adapt to that? Even if you have no approach, you still have to jump and take a cut at the ball. Don't give up just because things aren't perfect. Another heavy serve from Pankov here. Russia has so many great servers. And soft block from Russia. Can they get Chinanyezi in there? No, they get Engapet, and that's the beauty of establishing Chinanyezi. See how up and early he was. Great soft block, and Chinanyezi draws the middle blocker enough to leave an opening for Engapet to crush it in the angle. So that's a third of the job of a middle, is to be a decoy for the middle blocker as well as to block and also to actually attack. So 3 obligations in the front row for middle blockers there. Russia up by 1. Can they squeeze out the 4th set? And France struggling to get going with their serve here. Russia now up 2 points. I think this might be going to a 5th set. because Russia just has so much momentum. They are now the ones winning in transition. Who would have thought it would have gone to the 5th set, especially after France's performance during the first 2. Easy jump serve from Kliuka there, and again trying to get Chinyeze involved. A little bit low for him. Back set to Ngapet. Great day from Kliuka. Can they get a high bump set to Mihailov? No. They get a joust from Polesnik, but quick transition to Mihailov. And remember how we talked about, as long as you get Mihailov fast, that's the most important thing, and Pankov does. That was a little further off the net, but because he keeps them off the net, because he keeps them fast, he's able to accelerate to the ball. Polateev has been serving so well as a serving sub. This is trouble for France. This is Russia's chance to try to close in the game. And, okay, at least it's kept alive from France. Out of system swing, but big Russian block and in play from Ngapet. Again, a team that doesn't give up. But now Russia is the team that doesn't give up. What a huge change of momentum. Russia is beating France at their own game. Look at that cover from Grebennikov, and just a scoop from Petrie and another diving save from Ngapet here. And Polesny just crushing it. This guy has such a big arm there. Russia up 23-20. Polateev, one of the world's best serving specialists. Look at this. But he serves out. Rare error, but every time he goes in, he gets 2 to 3 points. What a great performance by him. And 23-21, Kevin Tilly in to serve for Chinyeze, sorry. Now, I don't think it's because of his serve necessarily. I think it's more for his ability to play defense and see if they can squeeze out one more defensive transition, because Chinyeze is not going to get a great dig as a middle here. Really good serve, but just out there. That's tough coming off the bench. It's tough to stay warm in that box there, but got to make a move, because if you're down 23-21, you have to make a big move like that to try to get something going for a team, because Russia is just on a steamroll right now. Russia with game point 24-21.
Hopefully we're going to have it tomorrow. Serbia and South Korea for the bronze, then the United States and Brazil for the gold tomorrow on the women's side.
And who do you want on the service line? Mihailov, the most consistent player under pressure. And Klivno gives a great pass. Do they get Legov going? No, they set their go-to guy, Petrie. And who else blocks the game to a 5th set is Russia. What hard work from the middles. What a great blocking performance from Russia so far. I can't believe we are in the 5th set. I predicted that this game was going to be a close match, but in the first 2 it looked like France was going to walk away 3-0, just like the USA women's team in their gold medal match here. And Klivno does a great pass, but overswings that. And the tough part about the 5th set is you feel the pressure. You know every point is that much more important because it's only 15 points. What I like from Ngapet is he pats Klivno on the back and says, "You got this." I don't know if he said it in French, but his body language communicated that. And you have to keep your team involved in this one here. And high set from Legov here to Petrie, and Petrie rolls it in, and France gets another opportunity. Fast transition from Klivno. Can they get Legov involved in this play? No, they send it back again to Petrie. And it looks like France is just trying to get too cute. Ngapet should have been ready on the bit because they need him involved in these plays here. And Kliuka, look at how smart he is. Almost gets that with his head, but he pulls his arms down so he doesn't get tooled there. And what a heads-up play from him. Russia already up 2-0. This is similar to the 2012 Russian performance against Brazil, where they came back after a 2-0 deficit to win the gold. But no crazy position changes like they did in 2012 here. Does Klivno miss another swing? 3-0. Either you call a challenge, you call a timeout, or you make a substitution, but there has to be something to slow down the rhythm of Russia, but most importantly to break the bad rhythm that France is in. Sometimes, just as much as you can get into a good rhythm, you can get into a bad rhythm. but no move from Coach Tilly, trusting his players to get themselves out. And another famous rocket serve from Pankov and cover from Ingapet. I'm surprised they're not getting Ingapet involved in this one. Can they set Ingapet here from the Bic? No, they run Cliveno again, and Cliveno gets himself out of that. What trust from Brizard to continue to go to Patry and Cliveno here. Wow. Look at that seam kill, and I love Cliveno's attitude. He just does not stop swinging here. That's the level of confidence that is very hard to develop. When you've missed your first 2 to 3 swings in the 5th set, you come back swinging again. Hats off to Cliveno there. Hard serve from Patry, but well handled by Golubev. And another missed swing from Kliuka. Is he going to call for a challenge here? No one's convinced there. I think that was just a miss hit. Kliuka is usually pretty terminal from the right front. He's been struggling in this match to terminate from there. That's a couple of waffle hits that he's hit. Maybe just trying to do a little too much. He's definitely more comfortable on the left side like most outside hitters. Mikhailov, fast transition and tool off the block. Remember how we talked about Mikhailov, you just need to keep him fast. Now, that was actually a little too fast, but it's better to have too fast than too slow for Mikhailov, because you accelerate him, he's going to do something smart. Look at that play to see the late block and the hole down the line. Russia up 4-2, 2 points, with a great start from Russia. Kliuka serving so well, and he does another great serve, but Cliveno with a great pass and a little bit high on the big set, but Ingapet sees the block so well, and Russia read this. Look at that. We got a triple block in system, triple block, and Ingapet, even though it's a little high, he keeps the swing high and turns it off the block there. What a magician. So Russia did everything right. They read the in-system big from Ingapet. They knew they liked to run him from the back row, but they could not control the tool there. And another poor pass from Russia, and Polesny sets up Mikhailov from the block. That's a heads-up play from Mikhailov to identify the situation quickly and then to crush it down. Russia up 2 points. They've been maintaining this lead. Can you believe that already 1/3 of the set is over? That's how quick the 5th set moves. Kurkeyev with his jump float down the line, but they've been passing him really well. Legov hasn't been involved in this game. Great day from Kurkeyev. And another high system swing from Polesny, and Russia just comes back with a French play. Dig in transition, swing high off the block, and celebrate like you won the gold medal every time. Polesny, what a great impact he has made in this match here. He's not the biggest player, but he is very physical, very smart, and very aggressive. And that's what Russia just needed from him. You see him whispering a few words to himself. You can feel a little bit of the nerves there. Kurkeyev with the service error there. We don't need. Russia up by 3 points, and a big service error from Kurkeyev. You know, when you're just a jump floater and you're not known for getting aces, your job is just to put a tough serve in. Even if it's not that tough, Russia's been blocking and digging really well, and they've been scoring most of the points in transition. So the only people that should be going for aces are Kliuka, Mikhailov, and another low big set. So Kliuka was committed to that one, and I think Pankov just got him a little bit too high because the pass was tight. And Russia now only up by 1, and France getting a couple lucky plays. The first one, a serve into the net from Russia, and now a great pass, but ball out. And another throw down there, misconnection to the middles, and Ingapet dangerous on 3-man block again. 6-6, Ingapet just getting work done. Triple block here, and look at that high into in between the hands, just aggressive swing. Lucky, that was actually a lucky play there, but sometimes you got to earn your own luck by being aggressive, and Yakovlev just hands a little too far apart there. And now France up by 1 point. Wow, what a huge turnaround from a 3-point change. And you got to set Mikhailov into this game here. He's the one that's going to help get Russia back to the game, because Kliuka has actually been a little bit silent in this match here. But Mikhailov keeping that swing high. If you want to learn how to play opposite hitter, Mikhailov, not the flashiest player, but that doesn't mean he's not dominant. He just doesn't hit straight down. He swings for high percentages. He's a complete player and a hard worker there. Great pass by Klivino, and opting to go for a quick set to the left side. You see how the offense is still a little faster than Russia, and Chinanyezi does a good job drawing, and that's a picture-perfect swing into that deep corner there. Staying open to the setter. And when you're hitting angle, you actually don't need to rotate as a right-handed hitter. You want to stay open to the court and just hit anywhere in front. Wherever you follow through, that's where the ball is going to go. And France now up by 1 point. Russia with their backs against the wall. Can they get their middles going in this game? And Ikovla does a good pass there. And power tip from Polesny. And just play from and net from Ingapet. That was tough. That was a tough play there. That was a great up by him, and a great heads-up play from Chinanyezi here, trying to bump set, give Ingapet an opportunity. But Brazar should have called that one nice and loud. Give Ingapet a little bit better set, and now it's a tied game. I think France is feeling the pressure, and so is Russia. They know how important every point, every digging transition is. Polesny has been spectacular from the service line. And just out. Looks like the nerves are getting to both teams here. But you have Kliuka in the front row hitting on the left side, and that's going to be dangerous for France. He's been winning that matchup every single time. So Russia down 1. We'll see what type of pressure France can get onto the Russian team with their serve here. And Ingapet hasn't really been serving well this whole match. Serves in short and does a great overpass there. And Ingapet coming big from the back row. Can they set Mikhailov? No, they choose to set Kliuka. High off the block. Great day from Grebennikov. Do they run Ingapet again? No. They know that the Russian block was late. Nobody on the right side. What a great setting decision from Brazar. Great vision. I hope they show the replay there. I think the right front thought they were going to set Ingapet again from the big, and so that's why you see the right front block late, leaving Klivino so much line to hit down from. In addition to the defense of France, I would say the setting from Brazar has been the big difference maker compared to Pankov. Pankov is just struggling to get a consistent connection with his hitters here. France is up 2 now. Is that an ace? No, just out. Are they going to challenge? They get 2 challenges this match. I would challenge this. Unless Tilly is 100% certain that it was not on the line. No compression here. Politev, the super serving sub. I don't know how this guy stays so explosive coming off from the bench here. This guy is just pure fast twitch muscle fiber. And he's a lefty, but France has been handling the serve pretty well. Politev with not a lot of aces, but enough heat to throw them out of system so that Russia can score in transition there. Another fantastic serve, but if you serve the libero, and great pass from Polesny, but out of system swing from Kliuka, and do they cover? That was almost a missed opportunity because Polesny struggles to pass the ball high middle, forces Pankov off the net, which decreases the accuracy of the set, and Kliuka stays behind the ball somehow, tooling the furthest outside blocker. That's the great place to aim. If you're going against a triple block, you aim for the smallest hitter, and that's usually going to be the outside or the right side. And what a great tool from the outside hand for Kliuka here. Tied game. This is the closest gold medal match that I've seen in a long time. This is what you want to see in the Olympic finals here. Another solid serve, but great pass from Ingapet. And Chinanyezi following the setter. This is what you want to do as a middle. You want to follow your setter so you maintain the same spacing, unless you call a different type of set like a push or a 3, but maintain that spacing. And one thing that's great about when the ball is passed a little far right, the middles actually get a free seam in between the outside hitter and the middle blocker, so you saw him exploit that. Luati, both teams with fantastic serving specialists here. Russia down 1. Luati has been amazing from the service line, so consistent. Rolls that one in, fast to Kliuka again, and Kliuka just takes care of business. Still a little bit further off than Kliuka would like because he's still kind of reaching behind him. Pankov needs to get him a little closer to the net, so you can see how Kliuka can't put as much heat as he usually does on the ball, but the best hitters find ways to get the job done regardless of the set that they receive. Tie game. Can this game get any closer? Pankov, well handled by Legov here off the net. Petrie, high swing but blocked. No, that was Tool to the left. What a great high swing. I thought that one was down, but from this camera angle, hard to tell here. And we get to see Brazar keeping him high there. And Kliuka was set up perfectly, but you're swinging that high into the hands. That is the weakest part of the block. So remember, in the beginning of the first set, Petrie does a fantastic job swinging high but out, and now he's dialed in to know where the Russian blockers are. Easy serve, but poorly handled from Mikhailov. And remember how we talked about scramble plays. Russia still struggles to make the scramble plays. And rare passing error from Mikhailov. That was a laser down the line there. Petrie with a fantastic serve. France up 2 points. They can smell the gold medal here. Petrie, another great serve. Polesny handles it well. Back set to Kliuka, not as effective from the right side. Can they go fast to Mikhailov? No, they choose to go to Kliuka one-on-one to Klevino. Not going to get it done. And I think France probably thought they're going to go right away to Mikhailov, but great set from Pankov to see the middle move and cheat to the right, leaving the right side one-on-one with Kliuka here. France up by 1 point. Now, if Russia, they don't need to serve super tough unless you're Kliuka or Mikhailov. They've been blocking and digging really well so far. Okay, Kliuka, he needs to go for it, and he does. Perfect pass from Angapet. And look at that, Golubev reads that really early, but when you're 6'6", 6'7" as a setter, there's just some angles that are going to be too difficult to dig. And what a ballsy play. Brazar has not dumped very much this entire match, and he brings it out to bring his team into a gold medal point here. And France looks calm. Russia looks a little worried here. Who would you set if you're Russia? Short serve. Decent pass from Golubev. And Mikhailov misses out. And do we just see France win the gold medal? But I think they might challenge it. They have to. And Mikhailov, what a big weight to carry. He just looked a little nervous on that play, and as soon as he swung, he knew it was out. And they're already starting the music here, but I think they have to review the challenge. And France knows, I think, that this is just a desperate attempt to undo the inevitable. Oh, no, they challenge a touch. And now France is officially the Olympic champions. Program history. Congratulations to Coach Tilly and the French team. We got to watch the celebration. I'm so happy for them. That was a crazy, crazy, crazy match. I knew it was going to be close, but I don't think I would have guessed for it to be down to the wire, 14-12 in the fifth set. And then on top of that, we have Russia leading, I think, 6-3, looking like they had the momentum. But in all honesty, France just worked a little harder in some of the off-play moments. Mentally, they were a little stronger. And I think the setting is what made the difference. Brazar just set a fantastic game. He made the right setting choices. All his hitters looked comfortable when they're hitting. Pankov looked like he was forcing his hitters to hit in awkward situations, like Mikhailov. I keep putting the K in there. Mikhailov and Kliuka having to reach. Now, Kliuka and Mikhailov are fantastic hitters, so they can deal with that. But that's a matter of 1 or 2 more kills per set if they had a slightly better connection. and Russia started going away from the middles, leaving Kliuka and Mihailov alone with 2 blockers. But I knew from the beginning that France just had a little bit more in them, just a little bit more determination. And I feel bad for Russia because they are such a talented team. They do work hard, but they always seem to lack that extra drive. I think they depend a little too much on their style of play, which is I'm bigger, faster, and stronger than you, and that should be sufficient. But they need to add a little bit more hustle, and that's what makes Brazil so great. They have the physicality, they have the speed, but boy, do they have the hustle. So I'm surprised that they got knocked out so early in this Olympics here. I thought it was going to be Brazil and some other team. So a great surprise to see 2 different teams, which is exciting for sports, because if the same team is dominating all the time, it's kind of boring to watch. But again, congratulations to France for winning their first gold medal in the program history, and what an excellent job from Coach Tilly to take over this program and bring them to new heights in the last 10 years. Another difference maker that I have to acknowledge is Ingapet. Now, I'll be honest, I'm personally not a fan of Ingapet because he just has historically major attitude problems. I don't think he's a very nice person. I heard that he's kind of a douchebag, and he's also left teams unannounced, his professional club teams, which is really bad to do, just very disrespectful. But you can't deny his skill level. So I appreciate him as a player in terms of skill, but I'm not a big fan of him as a person. So as a commentator, I'm trying to stay as neutral as possible. And as you can see, I was complimenting a lot of his play. Another thing I usually don't like about Ingapet is he just has major attitude problems on the court. He acts like a brat, in all honesty. When he makes a mistake, he just kind of moves on. And then when other teammates make a mistake, he gets on them and glares at them and just has poor body language on the court. And we saw that in the first match of the Olympics when France just got crushed by the USA. Ingapet was acting like his usual self, slumped shoulders, acting like a little brat. And throughout the Olympics, you saw him starting to hold his tongue a little bit, taking responsibility for his own mistakes, and starting to pump up his team and encourage his teammates. So the coaching staff must have really had a talk with him, or maybe one of the players, and said, look, if we want to make it far, we can't have you bringing us down with your attitude. And I must say, Ingapet during the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the gold medal finals, his attitude has been world class. You can see how when Klevno made 3 mistakes in a row, what did he do? He walked up to him and patted him on the shoulder and said, it's okay, let's get the next one. He tried to keep the team engaged. And when he made a mistake, he raised his hand and was the first to apologize. And without that attitude, that would have been the difference maker to lose. And I think that's a lesson that we can all learn from, is that no matter how talented you are, the more talented you are as a player, the more power you have in terms of influence. Now, having influence is not always a good thing, because you can have a great influence for bad, just like Ingapet used to be, where he would bring his team down. Or you can have your influence for good, like Ingapet did during the playoffs of the Tokyo Olympic finals. Excellent performance by France. This is such an inspiring story of the underdog. You're undersized, you're outmatched in physicality, but you have amazing heart and amazing determination. This is why we watch sports, for stories like these. And once again, I feel bad for Russia because I love watching Mihailov, especially when he plays for his professional team in Kazan. He's won so many big competitions, and it just sucks to know that you hit the ball out on game point when you had a chance to give your team another opportunity. And that's a lot of pressure to carry. So hopefully Russia will come back from this one, and they have a new young group that could play together for a long time and come back and try to make a run in 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed this Olympic volleyball commentary journey as much as I did, and we'll see you guys in the next video.